So just like my respect for the US national team, Trinidad and Tobago, really, Ronald Koeman is gone. Thankfully the news happened at 1:30 in the afternoon today, completely screwing up my video. So yeah, cheers for that Everton owners. It's almost as if the billionaire tycoons don't give a flying about an Irish lad chatting in his cupboard, but something had to give. I mean, come on. The good news this week is that Koeman finally relocated his razor. He was starting to look like Tom Hanks out of Castaway, if Tom Hanks hadn't stepped foot in a gym since 1997, but it was an awful week for him. It started with a midweek loss to Lyon, where not only did Ashley Williams try to take on the whole French team by himself. You're not Conor McGregor, lad, settle down. But anyway, not only did Williams become involved in a brawl, but so did this fella from the Everton crowd. Now I'm not one to cast judgments on people, but fair play to the man. It was an evening kickoff and he wasn't out robbing TVs from the city centre. You have to respect the parenting skills though. He wasn't prepared for his child to get lost in the Everton crowd, so he kept him close. He did practically jump head first into a 10-man brawl with his kid on his shoulders though. Much safer. The week then took another turn for the worst. Arsenal were up next. Wayne Rooney rolled back the years to 2002, but before he started breaking goal scoring records, lifting trophies and romancing the elderly. You stay away from my grandmother, Wayne. You'd have to dig her up first. And once again left an Arsenal goalkeeper picking the ball out of his net. And then they completely crumbled.
Sooner Ozil goes, the better. I don't mind if he goes for a free tomorrow. The guy is useless. What is he doing?
Right. He's insane. We can call off the manhunt, bring in the dogs, stop searching under London bus shelters. Mesut Ozil has been found safe and well after finally turning up this season. The last time he was on Merseyside, he spent more time playing with his hair and looking like someone had just in his lunchbox. Not here though. This was arguably his finest ever performance in England, and it only took him 4 years. But anyway, back to Koeman. Who is going to replace the Everton man? Well, the second favourite is David Moyes. Jesus Christ. Yeah, appoint a fella who's just failed at his last 3 jobs. That's going to instill confidence. Still though, it could be worse. Given odds of 33-1 on this list is this man.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Could Carlo Ancelotti be tempted by a move to England? Ancelotti has about as much chance of ending up at Goodison Park as I do with going out with Jessica Alba. Then again, Paulinho. He's recently come out and said that he's in talks with Barcelona. In other news, I have a date with Angelina Jolie tonight. And I'm still at home eating chicken soup with a fork most nights.
Hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Speaking of managers under pressure, Slaven Bilic looks like a man who hasn't enjoyed a good night's sleep since 2009. The Hammers were smashed 3-0 at home by Brighton and it's pretty unanimous. The fans want him out. Scotland got rid of Gordon Strachan, devastating millions of fans worldwide, and so the nation is now on the hunt for a new manager. That's usually how the evolutionary process seems to go. Except at Stamford Bridge, where they start looking for a new manager 6 months before they sack them. Harry Redknapp has popped up and claimed that he's interested. Yeah. No Harry, you'd take a job down at the local post office if it paid a half-decent salary. I remember when he took the Jordan job, for Christ's sake.
Jordan football, the future is good.
We need self-respect when you've got Middle Eastern money.
You have some very good players in Jordan. So
Leicester City have sacked Craig Shakespeare. Remember him, the lad who stuck a trident in Ranieri's back to take his job last season? Not literally, of course, because then he'd be in jail, as opposed to being Greg's best customer in the East Midlands area. Actually, where does Big Sam live again? So now with Shakespeare sacked, the Leicester owners are considering giving the job to another second in command. Michael Appleton, famous for a combined 27 games at Blackburn and Blackpool, red flags everywhere, and then for coaching Oxford United in League 2. Meanwhile, what's Ranieri up to these days? Surely just wheeled off to some old folks' home so he can finish his senile ramblings about dilly ding, dilly dong, and try and tell the nurse about the time he once met Andrea Bocelli. Oh wait, no, he's 3rd in the French League with Nantes, 6 points behind the richest club in the world. But yeah, you enjoy Appleton, lads. Save some trophies for the rest of us. Remember Kieran Dyer, the beacon of self-respect? He's come out this week and said that Newcastle fans still think they're a Champions League club. I don't think they do, Dyer. I don't know what would have tipped them off. Probably the fact they hadn't been in the competition in 15 years. 2 relegations in the meantime might have alerted them. Think back to the start of August. Newcastle had just lost the first 2 games without scoring a goal. John Joe Shelby was more interested in using Dele Alli's ankle as the trampoline, and the man brought in to remedy the club's goal drought was Stoke City's 5th choice striker. And yet here we are in late October and the club are 9th. I'm just going to throw this question out there. Could Rafa Benitez do a better job at Liverpool than Jurgen Klopp? The Reds have conceded twice as many goals already, but please, let me know in the comment section below. We won't dally on the Newcastle game too much, partly because it was boring as sin. If Crystal Palace bring no strikers to the party, they shouldn't be surprised when they leave with no goals. So moving on to Liverpool. Telling Dejan Lovren to defend like a normal human being is a bit like throwing a book under Floyd Mayweather's nose and telling him to read. Boy, God, he'll give it a go, but it'll make for some hilarious consequences. Who would you rather in your defence? Dejan Lovren or Victor Lindelof? That's like asking me if I'd rather drown in a barrel of piss or be eaten alive by rats. In which case, the piss. I mean, Lindelof, I don't know. I really would not like to be Lindelof right now. Well, aside from being a professional footballer, having millions in the bank and having a model girlfriend. Now, I'm not one for going over the top, well, but both of those defenders should hand in their resignations right now and catch the nearest bus to Rochdale prison, because they've just spent the last few months stealing a living. Let's start with Lindelof. As we all know, Man United just lost to Huddersfield for the first time in 65 years, thanks in large to the Swedish defender heading the ball back to his keeper with all the conviction of a malnourished goat. Let's just rewind a week, and Dyche and Lovren defends like a goat on morphine half the time. If I could spot that last week, some random Irish lad nobody's ever heard of, then how does Jurgen Klopp not see that? He was torture for the first 30 minutes at Wembley before being subbed. Tottenham went on to win 4-1. Did Harry Kane score? Do you even need to ask? Chelsea and Man City both won, beating Watford and Burnley respectively. Although the Blues did leave it pretty late to put the Hornets to the sword. And if Richarlison hadn't himself every time he was presented with the goal scoring opportunity, Watford would be 4 points above them, and I might be able to end my video on a more interesting note, rather than leaving you with a mental image of a Brazilian's dodgy bowels. Anyway, cheers for watching, lads. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. That is such a cliched YouTube thing to say. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.